Your child's teacher stopped you at pickup today. They were perfect, she said, an absolute angel. And you smiled and nodded and thought, are we talking about the same child who screamed for 11 minutes this morning because their cereal touched the milk? The same child who melted down last night over toast cut into the wrong shape? The same child who, the moment they walk through your front door, transforms into a completely different person. Here's what nobody has told you. There is a name for what your child is doing. Psychologists call it after-school restraint collapse. I call it the 3 p.m. effect. And once you understand what's actually happening inside your child's brain during those after-school hours, you will never handle a meltdown the same way again. Here's the part that's going to stop you cold. Your child isn't falling apart at home because something is wrong with them. They're falling apart at home because of you. Not in the way you think, in the best possible way. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what I mean. Why the child who treats you the worst trusts you the most. And 5 things you can do starting tonight that will change your after-school hours completely. Let's get into the 3 p.m. effect. So what is actually going on here? Why does your child hold it together perfectly at school and then completely fall apart the moment they walk through your front door? There is a name for this in psychology. It's called after-school restraint collapse. And once you understand what it means, everything clicks. Here's the simple version. Your child goes to school every single morning and they spend the entire day performing. Not performing in a fake way, performing in the sense that they are constantly managing themselves. They are sitting when they want to run. They are being quiet when they want to talk. They are sharing toys they don't want to share. They are waiting in lines, following instructions, reading social cues, managing their frustration when something feels unfair, keeping their body calm when their emotions are anything but calm. Every single one of those things requires mental energy, real, measurable, cognitive energy. Scientists call this executive function, and children have a limited supply of it every day. Think of it like a battery. Your child starts the school day with a full charge, and every time they have to restrain an impulse, regulate an emotion, or make a socially appropriate decision, the battery drains a little more. By 3 p.m., most kids are running on empty. The battery is dead. And here's the critical part. The moment your child sees you, their safe person, something releases in their brain. The effort of holding it all together, all day, suddenly doesn't feel necessary anymore. Because you are home. And home means safe. Home means I don't have to perform anymore. Home means I can finally fall apart. Now I want you to think about what this actually means. Your child is not falling apart at home because home is bad. Your child is falling apart at home because home is the safest place they know. You are the safest person they know. They are not punishing you, they are trusting you. There's a concept in attachment psychology called the safe haven. It means that when a child feels completely secure in a relationship, when they know beyond any doubt that this person will not leave, will not reject them, will not stop loving them no matter what, they use that relationship to release everything they've been holding in. The meltdown over the toast? That's not about the toast. That's your child saying, I held it together all day and I need somewhere safe to put this feeling. And they chose you because you're safe. That is not a parenting failure. That is the most important thing attachment science tells us about the parent-child bond. They fall apart with you because you are their person. Now let's break this down by age. Let's start with your toddlers, ages 2 and 3. At this age, your child's school day is built around routine. There is a time for everything: snack time, circle time, outdoor time, rest time. That structure actually makes your toddler feel very safe and very calm. Their nervous system knows what comes next. But the moment that structure ends, the moment they transition from the predictable world of school to the more fluid world of home, their nervous system gets confused. Transitions are incredibly hard for 2 and 3-year-olds, not because they're being difficult, because the part of the brain that manages transitions, the prefrontal cortex, is barely developed at this age. It's like asking someone to use a muscle they've barely started building. So when your 3-year-old realizes they have to stop playing and come inside, or stop watching their show and get ready for bed, their brain doesn't process that transition smoothly. It hits what I call the impulse wall. And on a day when their emotional battery is already empty, that impulse wall causes an explosion. The screaming, the stomping, the throwing themselves on the floor. That is not manipulation. That is a developmentally normal response to transition stress in an already depleted brain. Now let's look at your 4 to 6-year-olds. This age group is navigating something even more complex at school. They are learning social skills, real, sophisticated social skills. Reading facial expressions, understanding personal space, taking turns in conversation, figuring out who likes them and who doesn't, deciding when to speak up and when to stay quiet. That is exhausting adult-level social navigation happening in a tiny person's brain. And here's something that surprises most parents. At this age, children also start observing other children's behavior very closely. They watch what classmates do, how they talk, how they treat people, and they file it all away. Then they come home and they test it. Your 5-year-old comes home and says something rude that you've never heard them say before. Or they try out a bossy tone with their sibling. Or they push a boundary in a way that feels completely out of character. This is not them becoming a bad kid. This is them processing what they observed in the only safe laboratory they have, your home, with you. They're essentially asking, is this how the world works? Is this acceptable? Where are the limits? And they need you to show them clearly, not with anger, with calm, consistent boundaries. That's how they learn. There's one more thing I need to address. It's called the anger iceberg. What you see above the surface, the meltdown, the rudeness, the defiance, that's only a tiny fraction of what's actually going on. Below the surface is the real stuff: hunger, exhaustion, overstimulation, loneliness, anxiety, embarrassment, something that happened at school that they haven't told you about yet, a friendship that felt shaky today, a moment where they felt left out. All of that is sitting below the surface. And the meltdown over the toast, that's just the pressure valve releasing everything underneath. When you start looking at behavior as communication, when you ask not just what is my child doing, but what is my child trying to tell me, everything shifts. So what do you actually do about this? Here are 5 practical things that make a real difference. The first one is the transition snack. Before you do anything else when your child gets home, before you ask about their day, before you tell them what's happening tonight, put food in front of them, something with protein and some natural sugar. Apple slices and peanut butter, cheese and crackers, a banana. Give them 10 minutes to eat before you engage. You will see a different child. The second thing is the decompression window. Give them 15 to 20 minutes of complete decompression time. Let them choose what they do in that window. Some kids need to be physical, run around outside, jump, dance. Some kids need to be quiet, look at a book, do a puzzle, sit with a pet. Some kids just need to sit next to you on the couch and say nothing. Let them lead. Your job in those 15 minutes is just to be available without demanding anything. That window alone can completely change the tone of your evening. The third thing is the one question that opens everything. Most parents ask, "How was your day?" And most kids say, "Fine." Try this instead. Ask them one specific small question. What was the funniest thing that happened today? Who did you sit with at lunch? What was the most boring part of your day? Small, specific questions get real answers. The fourth thing is to build their emotional toolbox before they need it, not during the meltdown, before it. During a calm moment, maybe at bedtime or during a meal, talk with your child about what helps them feel better when big emotions show up. Some kids love belly breathing. Some kids need to squeeze something. Some kids want to draw or color. Some kids need to run. Build that list together. Then, when the after-school storm starts brewing, you can say, "I can see you're feeling really big feelings right now. What's one thing from your toolbox that might help?" You're giving them agency over it, and agency is what dysregulated children need more than anything. The fifth thing is the most important one. Check your own battery. After-school restraint collapse doesn't just happen to children. Parents have their own version of it. If you can do anything to protect your own energy in the hour before school pickup, a short walk, 5 minutes of quiet, even just sitting in your car for 2 minutes before going inside, do it. Because the most powerful thing in your child's after-school environment is not a strategy or a technique. It's you. A regulated parent is the single most effective tool for a dysregulated child. Your nervous system literally communicates with theirs. When you are calm, really calm, not pretending to be calm, their nervous system begins to borrow that calm. It's called co-regulation, and it works every time. Here's what I want you to take away from all of this. The child who falls apart with you, who saves every meltdown, every explosion, every impossible moment for your eyes only, that child trusts you more than they trust anyone else in the world. Their worst behavior is reserved for their safest person. That's you. And yes, it is exhausting. And yes, it is deeply unfair sometimes. But never mistake their falling apart with you as evidence that you're failing them. It is evidence that you have built exactly the kind of relationship every child psychology expert says children need. One where they know, without any doubt, that they can be their most difficult self, and you will still be there, still loving them, still their person. That is everything. That is the whole job. If this video helped you understand your child a little better today, hit that subscribe button right now, because every single week we decode another piece of the mystery that is your child's mind. And the more you understand, the more you can help them grow into exactly who they're meant to be. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.